Welcome back, everybody. It is 2 Cent Tuesday, which means that we will be reading letters of your mess in your dating life and giving our 2 cents. So today's special guest is my beautiful mother,
Hi.
the one, the only, the one who created me. How you doing today, Mom?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm excited to see your reaction to these letters. I picked out some good ones.
Are you setting me up?
No,
I don't,
technically, no.
I don't believe you, but go ahead.
That's fine. For those interested, you can always send your letters. Go to sipandspills.com. That's sipandspills.com. And we may read your letters on the show for 2 Cent Tuesday. But today's letters are actually going to be coming from Reddit. Since I took a little bit of a hiatus, we don't have any new letters. So I figured why not go on the Reddits and read some of the mess on there. All right. We're going to start with something sweet kind of. So this guy, he wrote in, and his question is, he says, I asked a girl to grab coffee with me today. She said she's bringing friends 1 hour before the meetup. So that's the intro. So this is the letter. Today, I asked this girl from my college, are you free to grab coffee with me? And she said yes. Now, an hour before we meet, she said, hey, I'm going with some of my friends. You can bring someone too if you want. I don't know what to do. Should I politely decline?
Yes,
You say it like that?
that's ignorant.
You said that's ignorant?
Yes, it's ignorant.
Why is it
She
ignorant?
agreed to go by herself. She didn't agree to bring
Right.
all her family and everybody else.
I agree. I think that it's very clear that the intentions are different. So I think it's okay to politely decline. She also might have taken it as like a friendly invitation, and she just might not have been aware. They're in college, Mom. Like,
A friendly invitation, and you bring other people.
she might be nervous.
Then she should have said no.
No, she might want to meet him. She's just nervous to go by herself.
And she brings her whole family and her friends. MCI, huh?
I'm not saying she should do that. I'm just giving her the benefit of the doubt because she's young, that
And
she might
stupid.
not be better. Because I feel like when you're in college, a lot of your meetups with people are in group settings. Like, it's not abnormal for you and your friend, you and your homegirls go somewhere and a guy and his homeboys are there and then whatever. But I just think she didn't have enough sense to realize that that's somewhere she should have gone by herself. Or if she was too nervous to go alone, then she should have brought that up
She should have
beforehand.
asked.
But in the same token, though, he asked her that same day. So if she said that an hour before, how early did you ask her? Because he's talking about he asked her for coffee. So it's not like you couldn't have asked her at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
So you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is, he asked her, and she assumed that meant that she was supposed to bring a whole party.
No, that's
Then
not
what
I'm
else?
saying.
I mean, how ignorant is that?
That's not what I'm saying.
She
at
sounds
all.
stupid. No, he shouldn't go. Leave a note on the table and tell her to ask some other dude to pay for her friends.
She said he could bring friends if he wanted.
An hour before?
But I don't know how early he asked her. Maybe he asked her 2 hours before. Because how you ask somebody for coffee the same day? Coffee is a morning thing. Or early afternoon.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but I'm saying she clearly, I don't feel like he couldn't have asked her that far in advance if he's saying that he asked her that same day.
I just think that she was being inconsiderate.
No, I agree. She was being inconsiderate. I'm just giving her the benefit of the doubt because they're college kids. And I know that your common sense doesn't kick in till you're about 25. So she probably just didn't know better at that time.
You just don't understand, do you?
I'm not saying she was right. I'm just giving her the benefit of
I'm
the
not saying
doubt.
she was right either.
But regardless, to the person who wrote the letter, I think that it's okay to politely decline. And in that, you could say something along the lines of, I was interested in taking you out. I wasn't interested in making this a group exchange. So hope you guys have fun, but I won't be attending, and leave it at that.
Oh, you're so kind.
What would you say, Ma?
You don't want to know what I would say.
What would you say?
I would say, don't think that you're going to get a second chance.
Mom!
Have a good day. That's what I would say.
And that's it.
I don't want. She's trying to set him up
Set him up.
to buy for everybody else. That's ignorant.
No, she said that he could bring friends.
He didn't say that.
No, yes he did. He said that she said, "Hey, I'm going with some of my friends. You can bring someone too if you want."
Oh, so she's going to take someone else's invitation and extend it back to the person who extended the invitation to her, and that makes sense.
No, I think there was a lot of miscommunication in this situation.
There was no miscommunication. She was trying to set him up to get some free coffee for her friends. He needs to let that dud go.
Okay. I think we agreed that you should decline. So, yeah, we'll move on to the next letter. Let's see. So, the next letter, I'm going to keep this one not too bad. It says, is cheating ever a deal breaker? I'm sorry, is cheating ever not a deal breaker? I was wondering if there were any relationships that actually lasted despite one partner cheating at some point. So I'll start with me. I have never gotten back into a committed relationship with somebody who cheated on me because I know myself well enough to know it wouldn't be fair to me or that person. So for me, it's like even if we work through it, I know that level of trust just it's been stained, and it's going to be very difficult to work through. And because I haven't been in a situation where I have ties, I haven't found the need to work through it in order to, I guess, get back to trusting that person again. But I do think that it's a different case when you have ties. Like, I think when you're married or you've built a family together or you've built a household and everything together, I think that's a much higher stake situation. So in that sense, I do think that's worth working through depending on the cheating situation. But if you're just boyfriend, girlfriend, no ties, I don't necessarily think it's worth pushing through. That's up to you, but for me personally, I don't think it's worth pushing through because to me, we don't even have ties yet, and you've already shown me this level of distrust. So when ties do get involved, it hurts even worse, and it's even harder to get through if we've already dealt with it before those things occur.
Yes.
That's it.
I think the answer is relative to the individuals.
Yes. Yes.
And I think each person has to assess how they want to deal with that. Some people can say with confidence, I'm done because this shows me where you are going to go with the relationship. If you're disrespecting the relationship at the beginning, then there's a level of distrust that's developing at the beginning. It depends on how important that person is to you. It depends on, keep your mental health into account when you're deciding something like that, because that's why I say that it's subjective and it's a relative thing. I don't think that someone else can tell someone else another person how to deal with cheating, because it's basically it's a personal decision and it's subjective, and it is something that the answers are open. So it's not a closed kind of a decision. It's an open decision because each person I'm saying it's an open decision with respect to how each person decides to deal with it. I don't necessarily feel comfortable telling someone how whether or not they should or should not do something when it comes to cheating. I think that there always has to be a respect has to be number one in the relationship. Now, if you, as you said, if they're married or if they're in a committed relationship, that's something that they're going to have to work through. I would say through therapy or through discussion and really finding out where they stand in their relationship, because cheating hurts a lot, and it really does depend on how committed both people are to sustaining the respect they need in their relationship, because it does cause a lot of pain to a lot of people. So I just think that it's an individual decision.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. This person was just asking like a general question where they were just saying, is cheating ever not a deal breaker? And so I guess from my perspective, I feel like it's not, and this is just from me personally, it's not a deal breaker depending on the ties that are involved. If I'm married, I don't think that it's necessarily a deal breaker, but I think it also is dependent on the extent of the cheating, who the cheating is with, how many times, and different things of that nature.
I I hear what you're saying. I disagree with the part that who you're cheating with or any of that. Cheating is cheating. And it's just something that an individual has to assess for him or herself. I just, when he says ever,
Yeah,
right?
he said, is
That,
cheating ever not a deal breaker?
see, what makes me uncomfortable is the word ever. Ever is too wide open. And at any given point, a person could say, this is worth me sustaining. And depending on what's going on in their lives, the next week, they might say, no, I'm done. So ever is a word that I would say most people should avoid. I don't want to say should. Need to avoid if they can, because ever is wide open.
Yeah.
And we don't know
Whatever.
we don't know whatever may present to us. So
I think cheating is circumstantial to each individual.
It's an individual,
yeah.
Yes.
So now we'll go on to our last letter. So
Uh-oh.
let me sip on my wine before I...
This is going to be one of those, okay. Do I need to sip myself? No, thank you.
Okay. So the introduction, before we get to the letter, because they have an intro and then the letter. The intro says, how do you ask someone to wash their hands before touching your private area in the heat of the moment?
What? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
The letter says,
keep reading, go ahead.
I'm not a germphobic. I think they meant to say I'm not a germaphobe. Maybe a little, but like, how do I know your hands are clean enough to touch
Lord.
the most sensitive area of my body? No, seriously. Mostly they're not, especially if you didn't wash them immediately before. So how can you ask someone for that in the heat of the moment?
Stop playing. That can't be a serious question. For real?
Would you like to read it?
Could you read it one more time, please?
Okay. From the top?
Just...
I'll read it from the top.
Yes.
How do you ask someone to wash their hands before touching your private area in the heat of the moment? I'm not a germphobic. I think they meant germaphobe. Maybe a little, but like, how do I know your hands are clean enough to touch the most sensitive area of my body? No, seriously. Mostly they're not, especially if you didn't wash them immediately before. So how can you ask someone for that in the heat of the moment?
That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. How do you ask someone to wash their hands and you're in the middle?
In the heat of the moment, like things are starting to heat up.
Heat.
You didn't get there yet,
So
but
you're
about to get there.
Oh, so it's warm. So you're supposed to say, "Oh, since it's lukewarm, it's a lukewarm moment. Did you wash your hands? Could you wash your hands, please? Because I don't let anyone touch me unless they wash their hands." How stupid is that? Man, that woman sounds like she crazy as a June bug. Man,
I don't know if this is
who in the
on.
world?
Let me see the name. Yeah, I don't know if this is a man or a woman.
In the heat of the moment, you're gonna ask somebody to wash your hand? Sounds like an idiot to me.
So the reason I picked this letter is because I have a friend who ended up getting a horrible infection because someone did not wash their hands before touching her in her private area. I'm dead serious. And she had to go to the doctor, and basically the person they clearly hadn't washed their hands like in a while. Like it wasn't like a right before her. Like I don't think that person washed their hands possibly that day, cuz the doctor found dirt in there. And
she sounds like she dirty herself. To me,
she's not dirty.
Hand. How is somebody's hand? How is somebody's hands going to be? How are someone's hands going to be that dirty that when the doctor examined her? Now that means that the doctor was right there to examine right away.
No, I'm saying like I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what the doctor said. I just know that she did get an infection.
She told you that.
And that, she definitely got an infection. Like I can confirm that. Okay. Guaranteed.
All right.
She had a really bad, and it wasn't like a yeast infection. It wasn't like a bacterial vaginosis. It was an infection that you're not supposed to have in there. And what it was that the person who she was dealing with, he works like with his hands. So I don't know if it was like he works with cars or he works like landscaping, whatever it is. He didn't wash his hands. So then she either went to his house, he went to her house, and she didn't think to ask him to wash his hands because like that doesn't come up. And things got hot, and then when he went down there and started touching on her private areas and stuff, she got a really bad infection. You don't have to believe it.
I don't, because it doesn't seem, that doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't make sense to me. She's not telling something. She's missing something. Come on now. She didn't think to ask him to wash his hands before they became intimate.
Most people don't.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Who would?
That's the point. She didn't. That's why I'm reading this letter. I don't understand what part you're not understanding. She did not ask him to because normal people don't.
You're talking about your friend.
Yeah. My friend did not ask him to wash his hands before they got intimate because most people don't. However, she got a horrible infection because he did not wash his hands after working with his hands all day. So he's dirty. Now, that is completely different, but I'm just saying that's an extreme example. But I was saying I picked this letter because of the situation that she dealt with.
I
think
I don't know. I really don't know how to respond to that because I'm thinking
she got an infection from that because they didn't actually go the whole way. So it was like it was his hands.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his hands that gave her that infection.
Oh, is she still dating him?
Absolutely not. No, they were never like dating. They were just whatever. But
that's something I never heard before. But I know it's quite possible.
And I get it because our private areas are the most sensitive parts of our body, and they can pick up infections faster than other parts of our bodies. So I get it. I do think that's an odd thing to bring up, but I think there's other ways that you can go about it.
Who thinks of that when they're in the moment like that? Who would think about that?
No, I know, but I'm saying that before you get to that moment, there are things you can do to make sure that you're comfortable with whatever.
I guess they could take a shower together.
Yeah, you take a shower together. You could cook for the person, and then before they eat, ask them if they want to wash their hands. Like, there's different ways that you can sprinkle it in there, but I don't think that in the heat of the moment is the appropriate time to bring that up, because that's just odd. That will kill the vibe completely. So
That's very odd. I don't. It has me speechless, and that's not done very often. I never heard anything like that before. He actually wrote a letter.
It says it right there.
I know.
But no, if that's a genuine
why
concern,
don't you ask her mom? Or ask a friend or somebody.
Because she probably didn't want to be judged.
Like we are, huh?
But it's different when people who don't
I'm
know
not
you.
trying to judge anyone. I just think that I'm not trying to judge her circumstance. I'm just trying to figure out. She said she wanted to ask. She wants to ask the man to wash his hands in the heat of the moment. And does she really think that the heat's going to continue after she asks him that? What man is going to stay there after you said, "Did you wash your hands before you touch me down there"? Does that sound like...
You could say, "Did you wash your hands?"
Oh, please now. Come on now.
It's like...
All right, then you won't have any heat of the moment.
No, but I'm saying it's like...
You just threw...
It's like, okay, an example I would use is when you ask somebody to put a condom on. Like, that's going to pause the moment. So it's like when you ask somebody to wash their hands...
Oh, my goodness. No,
it might pause the moment.
No. Oh, no.
It's not the same.
That's... No, not in a million years. No. It's not the same.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask somebody to wash their hands in the middle of... Oh, Lord.
So then maybe, okay.
He wouldn't want to finish that. That would make the thing go down limp, wouldn't it?
So maybe this is what I would recommend to this person. I would say, even if you don't identify as a germaphobe, I would say have a conversation before you even get to that point of, even if y'all are just dating or whatever, let the person know that you are a germaphobe and there's certain things. No, seriously, I think that you need to be upfront about, because that's the only way this is going to work. Like, you have to let the person know way before you guys get to the point of being intimate or anything like that. In conversation, y'all can play a game. There's plenty of games out here that allow you to do that, and let them know, hey, I'm a germaphobe. That's normal conversation. Like, when people are dating, they have conversations about what turns you off in the bedroom. That's a great leeway to answer that. I'll be honest, might be a little quirky, but I'm a germaphobe. And
in the heat of the moment, you could tell somebody you're a germaphobe. Okay.
I said way before you get in the bedroom.
I missed that
way
part.
before you get intimate.
That part. Okay.
When you're dating, when you're getting to know this person, when you're having conversation, way before then, you should make it very clear to this person that is a turnoff for you because you're a germaphobe.
Oh,
that's what I said.
I missed the other part.
Sorry. Yeah, so I'm saying, like, let them know way beforehand. You guys could have a conversation. What are your turn-ons in the bedroom? What are your turn-offs? And when it comes to the turn-offs, you can make it a joke, but be very serious. Hey, I know this might sound weird, but I'm a germaphobe. So if you don't wash your hands before, if I don't see or know that you washed your hands before we get intimate, my anxiety goes up because I don't want your dirty hands to touch my private area. He'll probably giggle, but because he's probably going to still want to have sex with you, when the time comes, he's going to wash his hands. Or if you bring it up around that time, he'll understand. Mm-hmm. Versus you just bringing it up out of nowhere. Right. So that's all I was saying. I
understand. Wow. It sounds as if you have the answer.
I'm just saying that's what I would recommend if I had to, like, think of something. Because in the moment, there is no way to bring that up in the moment. To answer her question, how do you ask someone to wash their hands before touching your private area in the heat of the moment? There is no way to bring that up in the heat of the moment. But if you do your due diligence enough and find creative and fun ways to have discussions about the bedroom before you get to that point, that's a quirk of everybody's quirky. So it's like that's something quirky of yours that you can bring up.
That's beyond quirky. You're being nice.
What would you call it?
There are no words that I can bring to mind to say what I would call it. And I'm trying to get right with the Lord, so I'm not going to say what I... No.
It's just weird.
That's beyond weird. I just think that's just...
You have a face of disgust right now.
Come on now. In the heat of the moment, how do you tell someone in the heat of the moment that you want them to wash your hands? Now, doesn't that sound stupid coming out of my mouth?
Yes, but you also have to think from this person's perspective.
There's no way.
No, listen. In the heat of the moment, their anxiety isn't even allowing them to experience the heat of the moment because all they can think about is, did this person wash their hands? That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's either way, the moment is dead.
Sound like QAnon to me.
Sound like what? What did you say?
I said it sounds like QAnon to me.
QAnon.
The weird people, the MAGA people who believe in the,
my goodness.
The conspiracy things. It sounds a little wacky to me. I'm sorry. It just does. It just sounds so wacky.
Okay.
Next thing she'll be asking, how do you tell someone that they're a partial alien before in the heat of the moment? It's something stupid.
An alien mom.
Something stupid. That's stupid. To me, that's stupid. I'm sorry. It's stupid.
That's going to wrap up 2 Cent Tuesday. Thank you so much, Mom, for coming to join.
Anytime.
It was a pleasure to have you. Again, if you want to submit a letter, make sure you go to sipandspills.com. That's sipandspills.com. And we'll be more than happy to read and review and potentially have it on the show. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday, 2 Cent Tuesday. Every Thursday is a regular episode. And until next time.
Bye.